When customers come into the Bell branch, I would like them to know that it's not just a place they can do their banking. They can come laugh with us, cry with us, pray with us. We want to be their friend, not just their bankers. My name is Courtney Frazier, and I'm the Bell branch manager. Happy banking is different because our level of customer service that we offer to our customers and the personal relationships that we develop with our customers.
We'd like to welcome Reverend Mark Love with the Central Church of Christ, who will give our invocation today.
Let's pray. Father, we're so grateful for today and the gifts and talents that you've given us to serve the community. And we pray, Father, for the families and the commissioners as they give their time and efforts in managing our city. Father, I just pray that you just give them special blessings as they make decisions that they have to make. Some very difficult and some not so. And we just want to lift them up during our meeting time, and also the citizens of Amarillo and their families.
Thank you.
Mayor, is it a coincidence that our pastor today is named Love?
No coincidence at all. You join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since our illustrious commissioner soon started that volley, I would ask if you would want to publicly comment on what he told his wife this morning for Valentine's Day, which we all sort of got a chuckle out of back in the work session prior to the meeting.
Every day is Valentine's Day at my house.
I don't know if most of us could pull that off, but the commissioner successfully did that.
Well, the lady has been married to me, put up with me for 54 years. That was last August. This August has been 55. Put up with me when I was 16 years old. And it has worked. And it has worked beautifully. So every day is Valentine's Day.
Should we get his wife, Frida, here to reflect?
No.
She'd be welcome to come, Jim. Good afternoon and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Amarillo City Commission, held on the third floor of City Hall this Tuesday at 3 p.m. The first item of business on today's agenda is the minutes. Attached is a copy of the minutes. And those minutes are in regards to the meeting held on February 7th, 2012. Are there any additions or corrections or comments on the minutes? Not entertain a motion?
Mayor, I move for approval of the minutes as presented. I second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. I want to give a comment on ordinance number 7319, the ordinance in regards to an ordinance regarding a sex offender's registration. We have, as a commission in the work session, made a determination, and I believe this will probably get tabled. We had a long discussion, as we have had since last November, about how best to deal with this. I'm going to give my opinion on what we're trying to accomplish, but I invite other commissioners to add or subtract on what their opinion about this is. My opinion about this is that we are trying to make sure that we are monitoring sex offenders in our city, primarily the high-level sex offenders and moderate to a degree. If you read the criteria for how that was established, there is a board of 7 people assigned by the state that are unqualified experts about how to determine if these people are high-level offenders or moderate or low. And I believe that something should be done to monitor high-level offenders and to deal with them. One of the ways we had thought about doing that is residency restriction. But in fact, I personally have had concerns about some effects we've heard from experts, well-meaning people on all sides of this issue. There are studies that point every direction on this issue. There are numerous studies that point to anything that you'd like to study about this. But I think Dr. Eads Commissioner Eads came up with a possible solution to our quandary about what might best affect this. And I would invite comments after this, but we've asked the city staff to study, and we will ask to suspend this ordinance, but keep it on the agenda for the work session so we can get input in the interim. And we will study about whether or not it would be better, rather than restricting the residents, to have a monitoring system put in place for the police to monitor them. Today, they are supposed to monitor them on a yearly basis. If someone moves into a house or stays there, they could be monitored on that basis and no more for a 20-year period or whatever. So we're wondering if what we're trying to do is monitor where these people are and raise awareness in our community that you have to protect your child. And it is a very strong parental responsibility and a neighborhood responsibility to help protect children. And maybe just monitoring them on a more regular basis. So what we're going to do is study what the cost of that would be and what it would take to, and how often we would go back and talk to these people, knock on their door, visit with them, see how they're doing, and monitor what they're doing, no matter where they live in the city. And we would particularly talk about the high-level offender and, to a degree, the moderate. But we also, I think, would ask that we have the ability to waive that type of monitoring for moderate offenders if they are able to appeal that. If you read the criteria that this 7-member panel goes through before they assign a high-risk level, one of the shocking things to me was it basically said, in the moderate level, it said these people are likely to reoffend. At the high level, it says these people will reoffend. It doesn't say likely. It says will reoffend. And so what we're looking at is how we can preclude that opportunity to any degree we can. But we also absolutely recognize that we cannot take care of this with some magic pill or some ordinance. That it is going to be a constant problem in our community. And there are many factors which enter into this. And so we're going to study this further. I'm going to ask that we get comments from the commission about what I've said. And then I add or subtract from that the personal view. But first, I wonder if there would be a motion to suspend.
Mayor, I move that we suspend work on ordinance number 7319 and keep on the agenda for discussion in the future.
Second.
Okay, and for comments. Are there any comments from the audience about what we are attempting to do? Are there any comments from the commissioners?
Oh, I just want to, we were saying in the work session, we had a really active discussion in the work session and heard from some other people in some public sessions. So heard from James Farron, the Randall County DA. And I think that it's a real healthy thing that the Commission is doing today, because we have all agreed that since November we have certainly raised the level of attention paid to sexual abuse and sexual predators in our community. And I think that by agreeing to suspend this ordinance right now and to commit to further study and to come back to this later with some things that might include residency restrictions, but also might include an upgrade on our sex offender task force within the police department. I think it's just a really healthy discussion to have, and it's what city government should be about.
Thank you.
I would just like to say that I am so grateful for my fellow commissioners. This is a highly emotional issue. And what I have been so impressed by the people that I work with is how nimble they are on issues. If we head down a road and we find roadblocks, this is a group of people who can react positively and so effectively, like really no group of people I've worked with. So I just wanted to personally thank you for considering this issue on the level that you have.
Well, we have concluded nothing at this point. We may come back to this ordinance. It will be retained for review, but we are hoping we can improve on it and that we would agree on that as an improvement. We also discussed today whether that should drop back to 750 feet. Understanding there is a concern about clustering people. So this debate is still wide open and will continue that way. We will also probably invite some of the experts back that have come and talked to us prior to get their input on, are we moving in the right direction to have some effect in the community, some positive effect. So load your guns. If you want to come and talk to us, we'll have ample opportunity for you to do it. And I would say that, Mr. City Manager, we didn't conclude, but we're going to attempt to have this back in about 4 weeks.
I think, Mayor, what we might do, based on the motion to suspend rather than table, we'll keep this posted on your work session.
Okay.
As the chief and as the police department is able to do at this moment, I would say 2 things. Refine the chief's suggestions on the task force and come up with the associated items that we would need to consider therein. Second, I have asked him to investigate other law enforcement agencies, either around the state or nearby, that have had a vigorous enforcement unit related to the sex offender registry. See what we can do from that. But those are things we can kind of bring back probably in pieces and keep the discussion going. And I would say in 3 to 4 weeks we would be able then to give back some information, some suggestions, and then get from you what we might want to do, if anything, as a formal action item. So,
okay. All right, so I will ask for a vote now on the suspension of this ordinance. All those in favor of suspending this, keeping it on the work agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that suspension passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7317. This is the second final reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 4-3 of the Amarillo Municipal Code concerning substandard dangerous structures, repealing portions of Chapter 8-3 regarding the accumulation of solid waste and vegetation, and adopting a new Section 4-3-2 regulating the accumulation of trash and excess vegetation. Collectively, these changes to the Amarillo Municipal Code will streamline the process for addressing substandard and dangerous structures and the accumulation of trash and excess vegetation while protecting the property rights of all parties. Are there any comments or concerns about this from the Commission? Second final reading. Anybody from the audience? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move we pass ordinance number 7317.
I second.
All those in favor of passing 7317 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7318. This is the second final reading of an ordinance approving the reassessment of properties in the Point West Public Improvement District, PID. This reassessment is necessary to account for partial property accounts that were added in the approved 2011-2012 assessment roll and are not included in calculating the assessment values. This ordinance does not change the total approved assessment of $52,000 and is recommended for approval by the Point West Public Improvement District Advisory Board. Are there any questions about this second final reading from the audience or from the Commission? I entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 7318.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of ordinance 7318?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Resolution, designation of Texas Enterprise Project. This resolution replaces the resolution approved on November 15, 2011, which approved the nomination of Bell Helicopter Textron Incorporated as a qualified business in an enterprise project for economic development assistance under the Texas Enterprise Zone Act. The Governor's Office of Economic Development and Tourism has requested a revision to the nominating resolution to strike the word substantially when describing the local incentives, as the local incentives are the same as originally submitted in 2011, rather than substantially the same. All other items in the November resolution remain the same. The approval of the revised resolution is necessary to allow the state of Texas to continue its review of Bell Helicopter Enterprise Zone project. Are there any questions about this resolution from the Commission or from the audience? I entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move for approval of this resolution regarding the designation of the Texas Enterprise Project with those changing those words.
Board. A second?
Second.
All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes with a 5-0 vote. Appointments, boards and commissions. Appointments are needed to the following boards and commissions: the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation. Do we have any nominations for those two posts that are open?
I move that we approve the appointment of Tom Bivens and Ginger Nelson to the Amarillo Economic Development Corporation for a 3-year term beginning 4/1/12.
Second.
Any discussion about those appointments to the Economic Development Corporation by the Commission and by the public? I would commend that both those people are reappointments and have done a stellar job. I think Ginger Nelson filled an expired term, is that correct?
That's correct. Both Ms. Nelson and Mr. Bivens still on expired terms.
And have done a fantastic job with that board.
Correct.
Their efforts have been okay. All those in favor of this appointment?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. The consent agenda. It's recommended that the following items be approved and that the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for each transaction. A is award of rock salt annual contract. B is award of Otter County pump station lightning strike repairs. C is the award of Hamlet Park walkway lighting. D is the award demolition and clearance contract for at 2003 Southwest 7th Avenue. E is the approval of engineering services for Northeast 24th Avenue pump station. F is the approval of change order number 1 for the Osage water storage tank rehabilitation and repainting project. G is the dedication deeds of right-of-ways. Are there any items that need to be removed for separate consideration by the Commission from the consent agenda? If not, are there any comments from the public about the consent agenda items? I would like to ask an explanation and a viewing of what is going to happen in Hamlet Park walkway lighting. Mr. City Manager, could you enlighten us on that lighting?
We'll have some illumination on the issue. Up on the screens before you, you see the layout that includes a couple of things that I think are really important to the continued work at the Hamlet School Park. Specifically today, what we're looking at doing is pulling in a new electric service and installing all new lighting around the walkway at the park. The orange, I guess that's orange, the orange dots are the light poles as you kind of go around the walkway there. The other thing that's on this that will soon follow today's, Kelly, can you go down to the splash pad, the semicircle there at the top right? There you go. Okay. That's also the location of the proposed splash pad out at Hamlet Park. So a lot of effort up in that area over the last 12 months or so. A lot of opportunity to take what was once a very, very thriving and top of the shelf park and start restoring it as such. And we're pleased to be able to provide that to the neighborhood. Funding for this award that you have today and funding for the splash pad that will follow, of course, comes from your annual community development block grant allocation that you look at usually in July of every year. And I think this just really goes to kind of meet the objective of that program and show what you can do with it.
Okay. Are there any questions for the Commission about this item? Quite an improvement in Hamlet Park, I would say. We went for a little bit of a tour on the Parks tour, and it's going to have a great effect on the community. And people here are very, very proud of what's being done in the parks.
I really love these splash pads too.
They're neat. They're fun. We need to all go out and play with splash pads. Okay. Any other comments about the consent agenda? Not I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as outlined.
I second.
All those in favor of the consent agenda as outlined?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Okay. That concludes the agenda for Amarillo City Commission, and we will move back into a work session after this to look at the study for the utility, the new utilities being proposed. However, at this time, it's customary to allow citizens of the community with matters pertaining to city policy, programs, or services to speak with the commission. The floor is now open for those comments. If not, we will move back into the work session. Thank you for being here today.